All right, hopefully this will be our last video for planting. We spent all morning getting stuff swapped over, tractors and stuff. We got a lot of ground to cover in this video, so let's get after it. All right, what I'm gonna be doing the rest of the day and tomorrow, running the dirt pan. We already got the biggest jobs done a week and a half or so ago when I was trying to shape off that drain over there on the cell phone tower farm and fill in some low spots and everything. So I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time filming what I'm doing now, but a lot of what I'm gonna be doing is going around and filling in washes like this one right here. Now, the vast majority of our washes are not going to be anything this severe, but this area right here going over there to the woods got cleared off the winter before last by the landlord. We had a whole big grove of trees just coming out in the field right here. And you look over the hill, you see these trees right here. There was another big stand of trees coming all the way out here. So we had short rows here. We had short rows here, and then we had short rows on the other side of that tree line. So by clearing it off, it actually gained us about an extra 5 acres. Plus we can make real long rows and not do a bunch of turning around, have in rows and everything else. Anyway, the guys clearing it off did a good job, but this was growed up because water drained down through here. And well, you can see what it did last year after it was cleared off and leveled. You know, there's no kind of cover or anything else, and water kind of funneled and ate it out. So what a lot of farmers do in their fields, because it's a whole lot quicker, is, you know, they'll get a disc or a vertical tillage implement or something, and they'll just come in and just plow these areas in, and it's quick and it works. Problem is, you're loosening up all of that soil, not only in the wash, but on the other side of the wash. So you get another big rain, you got all that loose soil. Well, what's going to happen? Well, it's just going to eat it back out again. I don't like doing that. It takes a lot longer, but what we do is we take the dirt pan, we'll usually get some soil around the field edges, whatever, and then we'll dump it in the wash and level it off with the dirt pan real good, maybe build the wash up a little bit higher, so all of this soil right beside the wash is undisturbed. It's a lot less likely to erode. If we build the wash up just a little bit higher, you know, water's going to kind of run around the old channel, and it's going to be in this nice firm soil that's a whole lot less likely to erode, and it's a whole lot more likely to permanently fix our erosion problem. And of course, you know, we'll crop it, we'll come back with a cover crop year after year, and then hopefully, you know, this spot won't be a problem anymore. But if you plow in these washes, you know, it's going to erode back out. All this topsoil that goes in to fill the wash, it's going to be washed down there, and then you know, after not too many years, all you're left with is subsoil, or in our case, frangipane. You know, you have no more productive topsoil here because you've been using it to fill in the wash, and year after year it just keeps on getting eroded down. You can see right over here, this is where Andy got stuck the other night with a litter buggy, and I tell you what, that was not on my bingo card at all. But apparently what happened, I guess he just fell into an old stump hole that after, you know, that 11 inches of rain just got, you know, just completely saturated and soft, and that buggy just I mean, it just fell in. And then after we pulled them out right here, we pulled them forward right here, and I started loading them back up with a litter that I had scooped out, and he went forward about 10 feet, and what happened again? He fell right in another stump hole. And I mean, that right side of that buggy, I mean, it just, it went from this to, I was scared it was about to tip over. I mean, the wheels right here were buried under the ground. But, so anyway, all this area right here, it didn't get any litter because we didn't want to risk it again. Now this area right here, we will have to plow it up because it is still extremely rough from the clearing. But what we'll do is we won't plow the wash right here. I'm gonna fill in the wash and then we'll plow up, you know, fairly close to the wash because we don't want it eroding out, but all the rest of this out here that's kind of rough and everything, it'll be smoothed back up. And we could get a planter over it. Last year after we cut the wheat, we planted double crop beans, but it's still mighty rough. So while I'm fixing all these problem areas in the field, Andy's going to be he's on the fertilizer buggy. We finally got done spreading litter yesterday, and he's just going back and variable rating, you know, potash on farms where we needed a little bit extra fertilizer according to soil samples that the chicken litter is not going to cover. And then we got one farm that I'm not allowed to spread chicken litter on. He's going to variable rate some DAP on there, and shouldn't take him that long. I don't know if he'll quite get done today, but then after we get done moving dirt and spreading fertilizer, we do have a little bit of plowing to do. You know, got the cell phone tower. I'm gonna plow up that whole farm, and then we got a few other places to touch up. Then at some point, we've got wheat to spray. It's starting to head out. We're gonna have to put a fungicide on there. Don't really know exactly when it'll be ready, but my goal is hopefully first part of next week, just depending on weather, is hook up the planter and finally go put some seed in the ground. But I think we got several storm systems, kind of like the last one that moved through, that's going to be, I don't think it's going to hit us, but I do think it's going to send some rain our way, potentially this weekend, maybe early next week. We'll just have to wait and see on that.
Well, same me, same tractor, different application. We're going in with that fake chicken poop this time. Now we are putting down DAP in the spots that we didn't put chicken litter, chicken poop, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going back over everything in the spots that need potash. It's all going to be variable rating, and yeah, we're getting it filled up, and I'll show you more in just a second. But first, I don't know how that stick got here in the middle of the field. I'm guessing the flood had something to do with it, but we shall move that real quick. Alright. So yeah, we got done with our chicken litter spreading yesterday, and today we're going over the spots that didn't get any chicken litter, like this Clanton up here, this big field. Pretty much everywhere, well actually everywhere else did. We're just kind of being good neighbors again, and there's 3 or 4 houses lined up here on the front of this farm, so, and they didn't really care for the smell, and they own the farm, so we kind of have to listen to them. And yeah, so we didn't spread any litter on the front side. We did on the back side. So we're going back with DAP. It's 18-46-00 DAP if anybody's interested. It does a pretty good job. It's the same color as the litter, but it's about twice the price. Everything is turning. The one thing I don't really care for about the DAP is you hardly can't see it coming out of the back. It's brown and it's not very powdery, so it just kind of camouflages itself when it spreads out about 60 feet. Unlike the litter that's super powdery and just makes a cloud, and the potash, you'll see here in a little while, it comes out white. Looks like you're making snow, but the DAP is brown and camo, so the chain is turning and the fans are turning, so it's got to be coming out. You just can't really see it that well. But anywho, I'm gonna quit rambling and get to spreading. Man, we got these blue tractors hooked up together too often. If you can tell, this is not the fertilizer buggy behind me. Matt was actually coming down here to fix where we just got the litter buggy pulled out from, and I'm guessing there's just too many Too many tree holes out here that they just did all this tree work. Come on out, baby girl. Come on out, girl. Come on out, girl, please. Joker don't want to come out today. I don't know why. It's a nice day. It's a nice day to play outside, not in the mud. The funny thing is that none of that is mud. It's just a sinkhole. Well, of course I didn't get the actual pulling out of the tractor, but it's out. That was a little nerve-wracking. We're getting back to our fertilizer buggy now. But yeah, we almost drew all our straws on that one. See if I can't hit the same spot twice. And just like that, the tractor is out and we are hooked back up to our fertilizer buggy instead of a chain. This field is, I need to call that the bounty hole. It is claiming tractors. I didn't think we were going to get it out that time. It just kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and it was fully loaded with the dirt. So somehow, some way, we got it out, and thank goodness. And I'm hooked up and headed back to Clanton. Hopefully I don't hear again from Matt about that, at least not in the same little, I'm gonna call that the bounty hole.
Well, I'm loving this dirt pan more and more every time I use it. Once I get the very top layer, you know, the loose layer of soil with the vegetation stuff, once I get it knocked off, I mean, that sucker bites in the ground. And these, my tractors pull it pretty darn effectively, a lot more so than that 15-yard dolly pan that I had. And I can load her up good. She does a good job. Anyway, got this spot fixed up. Our main wash got it fixed up, and then there was another smaller wash starting there, another one over here, and then all that crap where we got stuck. And initially I wound up making the hole worse because I got stuck myself. But anyway, we got some dirt hauled in there. There was a small terrace right along here that was funneling water towards that main wash. We got rid of it so it's not concentrating all the water in one spot. We got everything pretty much smoothed and leveled out. Now we still going to bring the disc and stuff, do all over here to get it a nice good seed bed. But probably not gonna be the last time I'm going to turn attention to this. You know, we're still going to get all this soil good and stabilized, living roots in it and everything. Might take another year or two, but we're well on the way to making this little spot productive. And now we're gonna go over here and get this spot done and move around all the rest of our fields, try and get all them ship shape.
All right, well, we're back here at the fertilizer truck. We are done spreading our DAP. So now we're switching over to the potash, and this is gonna be over, it's gonna be over the rest of the farms that have already been spread on and everything. And it's going in right now. So get this filled up. There's more in that truck than I can hold, so I'm gonna fill up and then run out enough just so I can send him back to co-op and get another load. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. We're going to potash, and I'll tell you more here in just a second. We are filled up with the potash. We still got about, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000 pounds, maybe a ton or so left in the truck. Yeah. We got our map switched over to potash, and all that is situated on my end. If I could figure out how to clear the work on this one, it'd be a whole lot easier. But anywho, yeah, that's what we're doing. We're spreading 60% potash, just like how we were spreading the DAP. Nothing different, just different product. Let's get back to it. Put these AirPods in and get my movie going.
All right, I've been working all day yesterday and today on dirt work, just about done. Got one last project to do, and it's to repair the culverts here that was damaged in the flood. As you can tell, most of my work survived, but all that water just coming in and rushing on against the side, even though it never really crossed over, it all, you know, went out and around like I showed you in the video. It still did a number on it, but the culvert crossing did survive, even though there's a ton of debris down there. And then here on the back side of it too, ate away at it. So we're gonna haul some more dirt in here and push it over on the side. Yeah, that's not the correct way to fix it, but this culvert is about at the end of its life. I mean, I think here in the next few years, it's gonna be rusted out. We're going to have to dig it up and replace it. And when we do, then we'll try and fix it properly. Either build some kind of head wall here out of you know, some quick-creep bags or wood or something like that. At the very least, we'll put some kind of barrier there to keep the soil from eroding away. You know, whenever we get to that point, we'll fix it properly. Until then, we're just going to temporarily fix it until this culvert finally does go, because I mean, we ain't got the time right now to take the few days it's going to take to properly fix it. All of this farm right here, we're planting soybeans on. First thing we're going to plant, and the one thing holding us up from planting is finishing up our dirt work and a little bit of plowing. So fixing this properly, just going to have to wait till another year. But you can see right here, you know, the damage that was done with all of that water rushing, coming around and then going back in the creek. I mean, you know, flowing water doesn't look that powerful, but doggone, I don't think that there's a more powerful force on earth. I mean, look at all this soil right here that was deposited. I mean, it just scoured away right here. So you can imagine if all that water that come through here had come across the top of the culvert, there would be no culvert crossing left. So I'm glad we spent time, I don't know, was it last year or the year before, whenever we had to haul that dirt in, I'm glad we took the extra few hours to build that up over the culvert so the water would go around it rather than across it, because it's definitely going to save us some time this year. Well, it took a lot more dirt than I was expecting, but we finally got this thing safe to cross again. I just hope we don't get a big old rain to dislodge all this loose dirt. We tried to pack it down as much as we can, but when you're putting it that far down, I mean, it's impossible to pack it properly. But at the very least, we'll at least be able to get our planter across this crossing now, so we can get this farm planted. Who knows what's going to happen later in the season? But we still got another culvert down this creek here on the home place where we cross. It wasn't damaged near as bad as this, and shouldn't have to haul, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 loads of dirt over there, and it ought to be good to go. So good thing too, because we losing daylight fast. So anyway, we'll bring you back in the morning. We're gonna have some different implements hooked to our tractors in the morning, ones I think y'all like. So see you then. We out here plowing over on the cell phone tower farm, and there's where I did all that dirt work a couple of weeks ago. Hauled all this dirt in and stuff, and I mean, boy, she's looking good. I came out here a few days after that big heavy rain, and there wasn't no water standing. It is still a little damp right out in that area, but I think that's just the nature of the soil. But we got all of this draining good. Ain't nothing ponding up, and we just might have fixed this spot. Anyway, on this farm, you know, made no secret, last year, I mean, this farm was just rough as it could be. I mean, it's an old pasture cattle farm, and we did a lot of work to it last year, and you know, got it in a lot better shape, but it's still rough as a cob and just beats our equipment up as we go across it. And even though I absolutely hate to do it, we're out here doing some tillage just to try and get it smoothed back up a little bit. But it's not all for vain. You know, we just had lime spread on this field, and pH is pretty low on it. Had to have a pretty fair amount of lime put on there, so getting it worked in the soil is going to speed up the activity of the lime. You know, get the pH on this farm corrected, you know, sooner than if we just left it no-till. So right now, getting started, I'm just going around the edges of all the waterways that we had cut, because we don't want to go across the waterways to fill them in. We can definitely see we got them draining good, and we want to keep them draining good. So I'm just outlining all the waterways, and then we'll get to the the main part of the field and everything. But I imagine some of this I know we'll have to make at least 2 trips over this thing with a disc just to try and smooth it up, level out the humps and everything. But also, at least on part of this field, you see that side, I guess it's goldenrod or whatever, it's pretty thick. We're going to have to chew all of that stuff out. So 35 acres over here, going to have to go across at least twice. We'll be over here all day. Right now, Andy's getting the do-all fixed. He'll be over here shortly. Be going behind me with it. Looks like this old disc doing a pretty good job of biting in the ground, though. Maybe we can get by with 2 passes. We'll have to have 3 to get this thing smoothed up and leveled up real good. I cannot express how happy I am to have that tower gone. It really opens up the best part of this field right here. We still had to do a little work out here. There was a service pole we had to remove, and then right here in this disturbed spot, the foundation for the tower it was a big chunk of concrete about 5 feet deep. We had to dig it up. But other than that, whatever company owned the tower, and then Gibson Electric really cleaned this field up. Gibson Electric got the 3 power poles that was going through here, all the wires. So it's taken us a year of hard work, but I think we're about to finally get this farm halfway in shape. Not going to be done with it by a long shot. There'll still be more work and stuff, but considering what I thought, last year was going to be like a throwaway crop on this farm. We put absolutely nothing into it. We planted some beans in here, no-till did it to the side. Of course, we couldn't have torn it up last year with that thick sod that was on there. It would have taken forever, but now that the sod is all rotted away, we just got soybean residue and winter weeds out here. It's all working up pretty nicely behind me. But last year we had our second highest soybean yield on all of our farms over here on this farm. And I said before we planted the beans, I'm like, this is just going to be a throwaway year on this farm. Just try and get it cleaned up and everything. And wound up surprising me. Beans didn't look great, but the yield was there. I think they wound up yielding 39, 40 bushels, which, like I said, was our second highest yield of the year. So we're going to put cotton over here this year, and we still got some more grass and stuff to get rid of. Can't quite plant corn on this farm yet, plus we won't get it smoothed up, but we're going to try some cotton over here this year, and then probably come back with wheat next fall, and then it should be incorporated into our regular rotation. Well, this day just turned to crap. Freaking spindle just snapped right off. Had it picked up, turned around. Apparently there's a wash right here, and I mean, it hit it just right and snapped the freaking spindle off. This old Kraus disc, I don't even know if I can get parts for it anymore. Don't hardly ever use disc anymore. Maybe it's time to start looking for a replacement this winter. We got a lot to do the next 2 days. I've got a 21-foot Kraus disc, just like this. This is 25 foot. I got it back at the shop. But I guess I can go with change spindles out. That's going to take time that I don't have. So I won't keep on, you know what? This whole thing, I'm going to keep on plowing. When we get ready to pick up on the end, I'll just raise the wing up slightly, turn around, let it down, and go on. It'll be quicker than taking a couple hours to swap that spindle out. God dang it. Pisses me off. Well, Andy finally made it over here. He got the do-all fixed. Had to replace a cylinder on it. And we slowly whittling away. I got the roughest of the ground done. It was over there in that corner. It was just, just a bunch of whoop-de-doos. I ran over it and ran over it and ran over it about 10 more times and got it about as level as I can get it. Still not perfect. They're a piece of crap disc, still holding together, doing a good job. I got used to raising the wings up every time I turn around, so really not not much difference than operating a planter old school, where you gotta, you know, raise the marker and pick the planter up. So kind of the same thing. All right, we finally got done with the first pass on this 35 acres. Now we're making our second pass, and we're going at about a 45-degree angle to our original pass, just to try and get this thing to level out as much as possible. And then Andy, when he comes by on his second pass, he's going to be taking a little bit different angle than I am and letting the boards on the do-all drag pretty heavily, just to try and knock off any hills and fill in any valleys. But overall, I'd say for the most part, this field's going to be way better than what it was. There's still going to be a few rough areas in here that, you know, my tillage implement's just not able to smooth out. But I think for the most part, we're going to be a whole lot happier on this field than what we were last year. Considering we're going to be planting cotton over here. We got a lot of trips we're going to make across this field, and I think everybody's going to be smiling at the end of the year. Now just pray we don't get a gully washer and have a whole bunch of erosion on this farm, because this part that I'm in now is not very bad. It's fairly flat with the exception of the waterways we got. When you get over here around where the pond is, all of that hill, which you can see that part of the hill we didn't plow up. That's what I cleared off last year. We got cover crop on it, so it's pretty good and smooth. We didn't plow it up. But all this over here, I mean, it's some of the steepest hills that we've got on our farm, and it ain't gonna take much for it to start eroding, and then it'll be rough as a washboard. Well, we pretty much worked this farm into fine powder, and I'm pretty much done with this. We're over here on the other end of the farm, and I mean, you can just see just how hilly and steep this is, even though the camera doesn't. We got her worked up good and got it leveled out about as good as we can with the equipment that we got. I'm done disking, so I'm gonna fold that thing up and I'm gonna swap out with Andy, let him take it on in, head on home, and then probably looks like I got maybe another 45 minutes to an hour to do all. I'll get that done, I'll head in, and then. All right, before we go to the field this morning, got a little bit of work to do on this disc, per usual. So you're spinning, it's actually spinning. This game's loose. I don't know how these things get loose. I mean, we tighten the heck out of them, put a car key in there, no way for it to loosen up. I mean, where does all of this slack come from? I'd like someone to tell me that. All right, finally got the car key out. Daggum, I hate those things. Now I'm gonna see if we can tighten her up. Daggum, that axle shaft is just spinning, it ain't moving. Alright, well, we got the nut off. I don't know, nut might be the problem. There ain't a whole heck of a lot in the way of threads there. I don't know if maybe it jumped back a tooth on the shaft or not. Shaft ain't in the best of condition either. Oh, this thing just gotten old. Alright, because I didn't like the look of the threads on the axle shaft and the old nut, went down and got a new nut on there. These threads on the axle shaft are a little bit better than what I thought they were. Once I cleaned all the dirt and stuff out of them, they don't look near as rounded off. So hopefully with a new nut and everything, she'll hold on there. All right, if that comes off or comes loose, I'll be surprised. All right, over here on McClary's, we got all of this ready to plant. We went around all the edges where we did the clearing, and then right here in the middle where that grove of trees was, joined 3 fields together. And this is ready for a planter. Instead of a frown coming over here every time to farm, they're gonna have a smile on my face. Made it over here on Clinton. We're gonna go get that little patch that trees that I cleared out way back here. Won't be over here about 10 minutes, but that crimson clover's in full bloom right there, and getting to where you can't really see my burn down strips real good. The crimson clover's kind of grown out or branched off out into it. Man, I love that crimson clover. It sure is pretty. Should be some good nitrogen production out there. Alright, we made it to the last spot we're going to plow up over here on Smith Family where they did all that clearing. As you can see, I've already taken my dirt pan across it and tried to scrape off the tops of the hills and then dump them in the low places I found. Of course, I didn't get all of them, but hopefully by doing that, you know, we're not going to have to just sit here and plow and plow and plow and try to move soil side to side to smooth it out. So hopefully go over this, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. Go over it a couple times with do-all. She'll be nice and smooth and ready to plant. Never would thought that 2 weeks ago today we were getting done with what they call a generational flood, and then look at all that dust coming up behind there. Tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing just a little bit of rain, kind of soften this ground up just a little bit, get some moisture back in there, because it's been windy quite a few days, which has sucked a lot of moisture out. Plus these cover crops growing actively has sucked a lot of moisture out. So I think we're supposed to get us a little bit tomorrow. Hopefully just in time to maybe potentially put some seeds in the ground either Monday or Tuesday, whenever we can get geared up and ready to go. All right, we got everything plowed up, and as soon as Andy runs over to do all, it's probably ready to plant. Just got a couple chunks to pick up out here. I think they drug a root rake over this whenever they was clearing it off, but there's a couple things that they missed, so pick that up, and this might be ready for the planter. Speaking of the planter, it's about that time. Go drop that disc, get ready to put some seed in the ground. Appreciate y'all watching. See you on the next one.